$350 billion question. Is this just another tactic during these trade negotiations to get what we want? Or does this really signal that the president has bought into this idea that this is a brand new Cold War with China, that we need to have two different sort of tech ecosystems, and this is just really one step into a more full-fledged technological conflict, where eventually, American companies won't be allowed to sell anything to Huawei, and therefore really kind of, I'm not sure it's a death sentence on Huawei, but it certainly creates a very, very difficult situation for what is arguably China's most important company.
So, John, on that front, if we are headed towards two separate ecosystems, how is the U.S. going to function? How are we going to roll out 5G without Huawei equipment?
So it's not going to have that much of an impact, actually, on the U.S. carriers. They don't use Huawei today. They were told years ago that if they used Huawei equipment, they wouldn't get any business from the U.S. government, and the U.S. government's an important customer for all of them. The companies that it'll affect mostly are small rural companies. So the thing about Huawei is their equipment's cheap, and they give very compelling terms in terms of financing to companies. And so small companies, particularly in rural areas, have relied on Huawei equipment in the past, and not being able to use Huawei equipment is going to push up their costs.
Yeah, so it's interesting you're saying that could exacerbate the urban-rural digital divide, and there probably would be a policy response on that, Kate. But before we get there, what are the specific concerns about this equipment, and is it seen as effectively functioning for the Chinese government?
Thanks for having me. This has been something I've talked with intelligence officials about for many years now, and it's really a big picture concern. So let's just back up, because on Huawei's side, they'll say, well, the U.S. government has never come out with really specific allegations of how we're colluding with the Chinese government and how we are expected to be spying on the U.S. But the U.S. position has been that it is just too risky to build our infrastructure on something that we're not sure what will happen in the future. So if in the future there are updates to the equipment that exists there,
or the relationship between the two countries takes a turn for the worse.
Exactly. And so their position has been, while we can make these sort of risk mitigation agreements with other providers, something this huge part of our infrastructure, we just can't do that.